know what you're gonna do? You're gonna treat you for breakfast.
Stop! Fucking demon!
Dude! Are you fucking stupid? Are you dumb?
Like, you allowed leg kick?
No, if you leg kick,
Draymond found out you're not allowed to leg
It's
kick.
what? It's gay.
Draymond found out. He tried to leg kick all the time. And they're like,
But if
stop
you're
it.
in a lacrosse game and you leg kick, you can't leg kick? Everyone knows
I
leg
mean,
kick.
shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leveraged times.
My food stamps went from $4,400 in food stamps every month to $38. What am I supposed to get with $38 with 6 kids? How the hell am I supposed to support my kids on $38 in food stamps? Not to mention our disability checks on hold. Our Section 8, my rent isn't getting paid tomorrow. So I have to come up with $1,100. Okay? I am allergic to work. I can't work. I refuse to work.
Taco Bell gives me diarrhea. I have to shit because I ate Taco Bell. Oh, I've got the runs. Probably from Taco Bell. What is wrong with you people? You can't handle a couple beans? Cheese and sour cream? You're lactose intolerant? That actually kind of explains it. But couldn't be me. I am stronger from eating Taco Bell. My shits are amazing. I could run a marathon. I could probably lift a car after having a bean and cheese burrito. Sorry. No diarrhea here. Not one single drop.
Go on a walk and look around. People need cigarettes, not vape pens. You get vape pens, it happens too fast. You get to that cotton candy immediately. A Winston 100, you're going to figure some stuff out. You know what I mean? Bravo. Yeah, it's hilarious.
So true.
Yeah, man. I believe that. I don't smoke, but I've seen the magic of cigarettes. And people that haven't been around cigarettes, they've never seen a cigarette save Thanksgiving. Because it happened. No, y'all have seen it happen, man. Aunt Barbara was about to say something that was going to turn that dining room upside down. But now she's out on the screen porch.
Y'all destroyed America for 4 years. And then Hillary Clinton wants to get on here and say that Donald Trump is destroying the people's house. Ma'am, I hate to break it to you, but come in close. I have a secret. Your husband got his Stanley record sucked under the desk, and it wasn't even by you. You can sit this one completely out, ma'am. I'm just saying I would rather someone put a ballroom in my house than to get their fiddle played under the desk, okay? Priorities.
You set off the gay alarm because you're gay.
I thought you were dead.
This is political sanity.
Foxtrot above my head, sock hop beneath my bed, disco balls just hanging by a thread. Whatever happened to that guy? Oh, it's on a native. Local. That's when pop music was getting too local. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, obviously. You guys know me. I'm Sophie. Not really. But it's been, what has it been, like 2 months since I've been here. I've been real busy with the holidays coming, Christmas, celebrating the birth of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's been real busy, real hectic for sure. I think that, and then I started a new job. I transferred within the company. So I'm like working nights now, so I don't have hardly any motivation to put to be. So we're back. So what was I saying? Yeah, I have no motivation to do episodes because I'm so tired all the time. It's not an exhausting job. It's just the exhausting part of it is staying up through the night, driving at night, driving in the early morning, not having enough energy drinks. Coffee doesn't do anything for me anymore. And obviously, I'm not going to go back to drugs. But, can anyway, you know. But, things have been going good. Things have been going well. As well as they can at home. Announcement before we start here. So my beautiful spouse and I are expecting our 4th child. And I'm freaking out, dude. I'm spazzing out because we're already outnumbered. We got 3 of them at home with us right now, 5 and under. And now we're going to have 4 5 and under. It's going to be 6 and under at the time of the birth, I believe. But still, the point is, the Lord calls us to be fruitful and multiply and to have children. But at some point, and I'm not saying I know better than God because I don't. I don't at all. Don't put words in my mouth. I don't know. But at some point, you just gotta, I don't know. I don't want to say enough is enough. Because I love my kids, you know. We're not struggling financially. It's just things are going well right now, and it's a blessing. Absolutely, it's a blessing. If I pause anytime, it's because I'm at work currently, and I might have to take a break every now and then just to write down trailer numbers and names. I do a lot of paperwork now, so that's fun. Yeah, it's a season of changing for sure. I mean, it's obviously a season of changing no matter where you're at. Life goes on. Hang on, the guy's whistling at me. There we go. All right. Gotta write down start time here. Let's see. Did I really lose my pen again? Dude. I have got to be the biggest moron in the world. I'm constantly losing pens. I'd lose my head if it wasn't screwed on straight. Maybe it fell. Oh, there it is. It did fall. All right, so we got start time 6:55. Yeah, there's a lot more structure to this job, I guess. There's a lot more security. There's always guaranteed hours. Where was I? Where was I going with that? I totally got lost. Oh, it's a season of changing for a lot of people right now. No matter where you're at, whether you're being deported, whether you're being questioned about being deported, that I don't care so much about. A lot, you know, like the Epstein files being released, whatever that may entail. I know that I'm going to go on record and say, you know, I don't regret my vote. I don't. But I have a right as a citizen to criticize the current administration. And I'm going to criticize them with a grain of salt just because there's been a lot of flip-flopping going on, you know. I know Trump's character. I know what he's like. I don't know him personally, but what you see as the persona that he exudes forward or puts forward, that front that he puts on, his personality is almost like a heel in wrestling. It's like, you know, because Rob Reiner, rest in peace. Dude had Dude had a high opinion when it came to Trump and what he's doing. And, at even one point, I believe he said he's going to set himself on fire if Trump gets reelected, blah, blah, blah. And then he, tragically was murdered by, they're saying it was his son, him and his wife. They were murdered in their home. Kind of a crazy turn of events. But the thing is, I see this like weird shift within the right now, where a lot of them were just having a heyday with it. They're like, oh well, he was a POS, he was crap. And it's like you can't, I mean, don't mock a person's death, and this is what we learned with Charlie Kirk too. Don't mock a person's death, because we saw the left do that, and right now the right is showing that they're no different, and that's an issue, because you can't put it forward like you're the party of like, oh, we would never do this, or you can't get mad about it when they mock Charlie Kirk's assassination or his death, versus like Rob Reiner's tragic death. You can't stoop to that level, because then you're no better than the left at that point, if that makes sense. But I'm not saying all. I'm saying most are, putting it forward like, even Trump said it too in his post. I don't know if it was real or not. I didn't get a chance to fact check it. I know that it was a weird thing, because he put this post in it. At first, it was like I was reading it, and it was like nice and sympathetic, and then he goes, he suffered from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, blah blah blah, and it's like, dude, come on, just call it what it is. The man died. He was murdered. His wife was murdered. It's tragic. It's terrible, and you can't put yourself on that same level. But here's the thing: as a Trump, criticizer or Trump voter, I'm able to call it where it is. Like, that was in bad taste. It wasn't good, but that's the persona that we signed up for when we voted him in. We knew we didn't know this was coming, but we knew that he was going to say something stupid, because that's just what he does sometimes. Again, not regretting my vote. It's just you're giving the left more fuel against you. But right now their party's not looking so damn good. They're looking pretty bad for the most part. But so yeah, R.I.P. Rob Reiner. I was a fan, man. That was good. He made some great movies. Princess Bride, this is Spinal Tap, Misery. He was a great actor too. He was great in Wolf of Wall Street. That Dickie Roberts movie with David Spade, he was good in that one. I don't know. It's sad for sure. Absolutely. There's no words that you can put into it. But again, I didn't know the guy. Yeah, it's just weird, for that to happen, and then for them to already have the suspect, and I don't know if he admitted to it, their son, or not. I don't know if he admitted to it. I'm assuming he did, probably. I know he was struggling with some substance abuse issues and mental health stuff, as that tends to go hand in hand with one another. But I think that we just, I don't know, the left and the right, and I don't want to sound like a gay centrist, but at some point we have to understand that we do have more in common than whether it's good or bad, like we have more in common than. So yeah, obviously I had to take a break there. I'm back here, but we have to understand that we do have a lot more in common than we don't, because right now, even if it's good or bad, like they're mocking a death of a person that didn't align with them politically on both sides. And that's sick. That's gross. It's a weird flex. It's a weird thing to cry about and act all odd about. Hang on one second. there's gonna be like 18 recordings all compiled into one spot because I keep getting interrupted. But that's the name of the game, I guess. We have to understand, again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but we gotta understand the good or bad. Like, you're mocking a death of a person, which is a weird flex, and it's not cool. Like, I don't know, whatever people get off on. I mean, that's your own business, not mine. But to just look at it through a political lens and not have sympathy or empathy for a person, no matter what their political spectrum, where they align politically, is just odd. It's not cool. And I mean, right now we have a president who does the same exact thing, and he looks at Rob Reiner as an enemy. Well, I don't know if he looks at him as an enemy, but he was definitely a critic of Trump and his ways, and as they're all. But at the same, on the flip side of that coin, like at the end of the day, we're all human, and it doesn't matter if they look at us as it doesn't matter if the left looks at the right as not human. At the end of the day, it's like, are we going to get to that point where we're like, oh well, who cares? They didn't align with me politically, so fuck them. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing, and it's like there's no. It's got to be so exhausting to look at it that way. I mean, look, I can look at artists. I can separate artists from the art. However, it's that line is getting so blurry when it comes to like pro, abortion or pro-choice versus pro-life. Like, I'm not. I have my views on that, and there are certain artists I won't listen to if they don't. But it's few and far between. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, screw that person just because they don't have morals or values. Like, maybe those are their morals and values, and that's okay. Like, that's their own thing. But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna agree or jump on board with that. Like my wife and I, we were talking about, who was it? Taylor Swift. I can call Taylor Swift. She's a great artist. I'm gonna give her that. She can write one hell of a song. She's always been able to do that since she was like 15 years old, probably younger. And now she's what, 36, 37 years old. And oh yeah, she'd be 37 next year. So you look at her, her politics are crap in my opinion. I just don't agree. I don't agree with her. I think she's successful. She's wildly successful, and she's worked her way up to get there. But she can write a song, man. Like, she can write a very catchy song. I'm not gonna lie and be like, oh, she sucks. Like, I'm not gonna say that because she's a good artist, and that's just how it is. And I was talking to my wife about that. Like, we don't agree with her politically, but at the same time, we can appreciate her as an artist because she's good, And I'll recognize talent where talent lies, instead of being like all caught up in the BS. Like, if she's not conservative or Christian or whatever, like, that's not my problem. That's on her. But a lot of times people who are heavily involved in politics, they're going to look at it through a political lens. And then you can't look at life that way because it's so exhausting. It's like, once you narrow someone down to red or blue, it's like, man, can you just like not be consumed with politics? Like, I have jumped out of the wheelhouse right now of like following midterms and following elections or election speculation, like, what's it called, like polls. And people are betting on polls now, or they're betting on like elections now. It's like, what don't people bet on now? It's like, you're really that much of a fag that you have to bet on the election? Like, betting's weird. I've never done. I mean, I do it when I go like to the casino, but that's different. It's still the same thing. You're betting no matter what. When you start betting on random things like the election, it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's such a weird. It's such a weird way to justify like life, or to justify like your addiction in a way. I mean, I'm somewhat paying attention to like certain current events like the Epstein files or the Somali fraud that's going on in our state currently, the ICE raids that are going on in our area. Like, I'm paying attention to that kind of stuff, but that's not so much political as it is like Department of Justice wise things, you know. As of right now, I don't know what kind of charges are going to be brought against Tim Walz. Probably zero. But to be a fan of his still, be like, oh, he's so good, you know. Man, shut the hell up. Like, no, he's not. And he's not a good dude. But what do I know, right? There's a lot of murky waters that lie beneath because of political differences or whatever, what have you. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's such a great guy. Like, the dude was selected to be a vice president. Like he was selected to be vice president for someone who was an absolute dog shit candidate. Like, and I think she only picked him because he was dumber than she was. And I don't know if she's planning on running again. I freaking hope not. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, she's got to be somewhat wanting to be involved in it still. And so, like, the fraud that happened. Let's get some information on this because I know. Is it still recording? It's still recording. That's cool. I can still record while I'm on a different app. Hang on. Bad radio, you guys. I'm like over here searching for stuff right now. So these are not just state. These are like federal and state fraud. So what they're doing is right now they're what they did. I think it was during COVID. They were targeting like public benefit programs. Like there's one called like Feeding Our Future. It was like a child nutrition, like feeding the kids or whatever, and it was nonprofit. They said that they fed like they were supposed to feed like millions of kids, and I can't remember the exact figures of how much they got for that specific case, but it was way it was like millions versus feeding like 2,000 kids, and that in itself is wrong, you know. And then there's like the Medicaid and autism treatment, that's billing fraud. So what they're doing is, so providers are allegedly being billed for services not actually provided or inflated claims. So like what they're doing is, this is my understanding of this, so I could be 100% wrong. So Somalis have a ton of kids, you know, like they have like 8 kids when they come here. Not when they come here. They have like 8 kids while they're here. And then what they're doing is they're inflating their child's like autism diagnosis, where they might be a little bit quirky, but they're calling it like yes, they have autism, which I don't know how you would even do that without getting an assessment done, because like we're doing that right now with our son, and they're trying to say that he does have ASD, but I don't know if we're going to continue with it to be like, well, I don't know if he actually has it or not, or if they're trying to just fit him into a neat little box, but what they're doing is they're using that as an advantage. I don't know if they're doing it with an assessment or without an assessment, but how do you diagnose someone with autism when they're not from here and you don't know their cultural ways, you don't know what exactly they're doing, how they carry themselves on a daily basis? Like maybe they're being raised on an iPad or they're being raised on a screen 24/7. That mirrors the autism spectrum disorder type of symptoms that we see or that they see. So then the people who are doing the assessment, They just mark it down as yes, they do have autism, and then they're inflating those kinds of cases where they're using that for their financial gain or to receive more benefits, which is clear and cut. That's fraud. And then Housing Stabilization Services Program fraud. Claims submitted for assistance but not delivered. What does that mean? But anyway, I'm assuming housing programs of some sort, getting money. I know probably SNAP assistance or EBT. Federal prosecutors now estimate that billions of dollars may have been stolen over many years from programs totaling about $18 billion in federal funding administered by the state. Some estimates put possible fraud at around $9 million, a figure compared to Somalia's entire annual GDP. So 18 billion federal and 9 billion. That's crazy. 78 to 86 people were charged. Dozens of people have been charged or convicted in connection with these schemes. According to federal authorities, many defendants are of Somali ancestry. In some reports, around 78 to 86 people have been charged. In the largest schemes were Somali Americans, the vast majority of whom are U.S. citizens. So it's people who are born here. Prosecutors emphasize that these are individual criminal cases, not actions against the whole community, obviously. New waves of indictments continue, including cases where people traveled to the state because they believed the programs were easy to exploit. That's fucking crazy. But if they're not double checking it, I mean, it's probably pretty easy to get away with it in the state. We are an extremely blue state up here in Minnesota. We are definitely like a mother first state. We're a state that looks after people if they're like even drug addicts and they need money for their kids. We're looking at that so much, and they don't. The thing is, like, this is what's crazy. I think if you're on like federal, like if you're on state assistance, like you should have to pass a drug test. You shouldn't be able to just do whatever you want and get money from the government and taxpayers. Like, people on the left always say, "Well, why do you care about it? So, you're paying taxes anyway." Like, no, we care because it's going to the wrong people. It's going to the people who don't need it. It's going to the people who need it, but they're making decisions that put them in that box in the first place. That's their own problem. That's their own fault. They should go to treatment and get themselves clean to be able to do it. To be able to, like, it should only be used as a foundational thing. And I come from that. Like, I was on drugs. When I got sober, I needed medical assistance because I didn't have insurance. I used it until I got a job where I was able to get benefits, and now I'm on my benefits for my job. Like, I have insurance through my job. I don't have it through the state anymore. And that's the problem. That's a humongous, like, my kids and my wife are on my insurance, because we can cover that now. It should only be used as a foundational thing to be able to get back on your feet. You should not have it forever. It's like SSRIs or whatever. You don't need to be on medication forever. You should be able to, like, move, like, progress forward, like, move up in the world instead of staying at that one spot. So it's getting political, it's getting national attention because President Trump and Representative Tom Emmer have publicly criticized the fraud and linked it to immigration and state leadership, which is possible. But it's like, how far up that ladder do you actually want to go? I don't want to sound like a complete racist when I say this, and this shouldn't be looked at as racist. It's like a homogeneous. My wife was talking to me about a homogeneous, homogeneous states or countries. So where we keep one culture, and I'm not saying that all cultures are bad. Other cultures besides Americans are bad. That's not my stance here. My stance is when you come from a primarily like Sharia law driven country, war-torn, third world country, and you come in here and you're not willing to assimilate to American culture, if you're not willing to acclimate to the ways of this country, then you shouldn't be here. Because I get religious. I get that. But at the same time, it's like when you're washing your ass with a water bottle because your religion doesn't allow you to use toilet paper, that's a problem. That's a problem. If you think that women need to be circumcised when they're, at whatever age, because your religion calls it, then that's a problem. If you make your women wear burqas and hijabs because they don't need to be seen because your religion says so, that's a problem. If you permit child marriage because your religion says so, and that's not just Muslims, that's also, there's an article I read that Israel is trying to push back, I think it's like age 13 for marriage, which is absolutely bonkers. Why would you want to, why is marrying a child, I don't care if it's religious or not, that's so wrong on so many levels, because you're directly taking the innocence from children and you're putting them in a position due to what your God says, when that's wrong 100%. So the thing is, if you're not willing to assimilate to culture, that you're moving into that country directly and you're trying to overtake these cities with your little communities, like where I live, there is a community. There is a community for Somalis. I live behind a mosque. Like, that's real, we see that. And I gotta write this time down. So finished. Uh, 1915. What a year. Sorry, guys. Bad radio again. 1520 for the head count on that. Wow. So we got 7:27 for a start time there. So the thing is, if you're not willing to be, and I don't want to tell a person how to live. That's the last thing I ever want to do. But when you're coming from this archaic nature because your religion tells you to, and you're defending a guy who married a child and consummated that marriage when she was 9, but he married her when she was 6. That's crazy. And I think it's just right now, people are being painted with this brush where we have to do it. You got to get everybody out of this country. That's what Trump's wanting to do. You want to get everybody out. It doesn't matter. If they're not willing to assimilate to the culture, they're not willing to quit committing crimes or being nuts and wild out, get them out. I agree with that. If you're not willing to do any of that, you're tainting this society as a whole. And right now, I'm Mexican and I'm native and all this, but I'm also white too. Right now, globally, white is the minority. Caucasians are the minority worldwide. And the thing is, if we don't do anything about it, and this is going to come off as oh, you're a white supremacist, you're a white nationalist. Dude, call me whatever you want. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm going to say what I believe. And you guys know, if you've been listening to this show long enough, I'm going to say what I believe personally. I'm not a racist person, okay? I'm not racist at all, actually. I love everyone for who they are, for what color their skin is. I don't give a fuck about color of the skin. We all bleed the same color. But if you're coming into this country illegally and you're fucking this whole thing up and you're just committing crimes and being nuts and harming people, raping young girls, and you're committing gang violence or dealing drugs or doing whatever, or you're beating your wife, or you're being a piece of shit, like, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. We don't need you here. You can go do this back in your country. Isn't that the reason you left in the first place? Because of all the war and all the shit that you tried to escape to try to, achieve sanctuary status here in America? We don't want all these fucking criminals coming in, okay? Well, white people, white Americans actually commit more violence than all these other demographics as a whole. Like, dude, but what do we do with those people that cause those issues here that are here already, that were born here? We put them in jail. We put them in prison. We have these programs, and they could be reformed too, I'm sure, of course. They could be reformed as well. Absolutely. But I'm just an idiot talking. I have no idea. No idea. Not a singular idea in my brain. I'm just speaking what I believe and how I feel. And I don't see an issue with that. You should be able to say whatever you want without fear of being, called a racist, white nationalist, piece of shit, whatever. But going back to the original point, I think that the main thing here is I don't think that Tim Walz or Keith Ellison, the AG in Minnesota, I don't think they're going to see any charges. They'll never see the inside of a jail cell. Justice will never be brought in this case. It just won't. Because we know how it goes. People who need to be held accountable are never held accountable. Ever. It doesn't matter what political side you're on, left or right. People are not held accountable. Looking at the Epstein stuff too, you see all these names coming out. Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Stephen Hawking, David Copperfield, Naomi Campbell, who was the other one? Ralph Fiennes, great actor, don't get me wrong, but these people, you see these, just to name a few, and then what do they put at the bottom of it, or right in the middle of the article that you're reading? Association does not imply guilt. How? They knew what this guy was about. They knew what he was doing. I don't care how much money he had. This guy politically blackmailed so many people. He blackmailed so many people. Look at Les Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret, Pink, Abercrombie & Fitch, Hollister, Bath & Body Works, all those companies, all those sub-companies that he owned, he signed over like his wealth to Jeffrey Epstein. Because guess what? He had something on him. Was Epstein a CIA operative? I don't know, probably. I know he's dead now. But all this stuff coming up after the fact that he's been gone. This has been a long time coming. When you're making documentaries about this guy and how he used to have 14-year-olds play with his nipples and jerk him off while he was paying him $200 for a massage while they stripped naked. Then he had these other girls who were young, like 16 or younger, coming in and bringing these recruits that he had, that they had with him, their friends essentially, recruited them to do this kind of sick shit because that's what he wanted. Paying them $200 a pop, and they still kept doing it. Virginia Giuffre, same thing. She's gone now. She's dead. She's dead now. Weird. It's a weird thing. But for them to say association doesn't imply guilt, the hell it doesn't, dude. I'm gonna look at all these people same way. You associated with this guy, you are just as guilty as the rest of them. Prince Albert, him too. But this is weird shit. Like, people are into some weird sex shit. Like, it's just odd. And I don't know how to put this in a different light. Like, there's no glamorous way to put this. There's no understanding of of there's no way you can paint this where it doesn't look bad for people, for the people involved. Hold on one second. I think that there needs to be, and they're just giving us this. They're giving us the slow burn of information. We've seen it all. Like, we know all the whole, like, flight logs and shit. We know all that. Now the photos are coming out. We know that the photos are coming out now of Bill Clinton in the hot tub, of Epstein cuddling these young girls. Like, okay, we knew all this. We knew all of this. We just never saw proof. And now it's starting to backfire for certain people because they wanted a certain person's name in it. It's like, okay, this is what bothers me so much. When the liberals and the Democrats were calling for this to be released, they didn't care. You don't care about the victims, okay? You only care whether or not Republicans or Trump was on that list. That's all you care about. You don't care about these kids that were victimized, these young girls that were victimized, raped, molested, statutory rape, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that'd be the right usage of that term, but. And the thing is, I don't think people on the right wanted it either. They wanted to say, oh, who were the Democrats who are on the list? Who cares, man? Like, I care about these victims, and I care about these sex crimes against children. That's where the real issue lies. And Maxwell, like Ghislaine Maxwell, she's now appealing for a presidential pardon, and it's like, if she gets that, dude, heads are gonna roll. Like, she was just as bad as he was. She brought young girls to him. But I mean, they're gonna keep releasing names, and let's look into it if they've released any names. I've been trying to keep up with it as much as I can, but with work and raising a family, like it's tough to. I spent so long trying to. I've spent so long losing sleep over these cases, like this one and Pizzagate. I lost sleep over that stuff. And for a while there, I didn't think it was gonna be released at all. So we got reported in various unsealed documents and contact records. So, like, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not accused of misconduct. Hillary Clinton, Prince Andrew, obviously, Al Gore, George Mitchell, former senator, David Copperfield, the magician, not the guy that Charles Dickens wrote about. Naomi Campbell, Mick Jagger, that's the other one I forgot. Michael Jackson, Kevin Spacey, that's a no-brainer. Bruce Willis, he's on his deathbed, so no one really fucking cares about that. Cameron Diaz, Kate Blanchett, Courtney Love, Naomi Campbell, Leonardo DiCaprio. Not all confirmed in direct association. Well, we knew about Leo. He's only dates girls until they turn 25, and then he kicks them to the curb. Great actor. I'll separate the artist from the art, but what a fucking sicko. Les Wexner, obviously. Financial ties. Bill Gates. Alan Dershowitz, the attorney. That guy he's a fucking creep, too. David Boies. David Bois. I don't know how to say it. Louis Freeh, former FBI director. Some documents. Marvin Minsky. Ann Farmer. These are victims. Ann Farmer and Maria Farmer are the early reporters to the FBI, the Farmer sisters. I don't know if they were sisters or mom and daughter. And then obviously down here, it says important clarifications. Being named doesn't equal guilt. Okay, well, fuck off with all that because I don't believe that. So there hasn't been all that many names released so far. I mean, there's quite a few. I named off like 20 names. But this guy, this case goes deeper than it lets on, for sure. I mean, there's tons and tons of shit that's coming out about this. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more to come. This isn't just going to be the end of the year we're going to get it all. This is going to be over the course of this term and possibly the next, whoever wins the 2028 presidential election. We'll see if it's J.D. Vance. I don't know. We'll see. But maybe he was, Mossad, an agent of Mossad, Israel's got some ties to a lot of this stuff, too, that if you even bring it up, you get called an anti-Semite because they're so overly sensitive. But right now, you got to look at the IDF and you got to look at the Israeli government and the corruption that lies within that. And you have to be able to call a spade because that's what it is. They're doing rotten things. They're doing sick things. What was it that I read something recently where I believe Netanyahu was on trial for something, war crimes, I believe. What was the major event that's happened? Hang on one second. So with Netanyahu, there was there was an arrest warrant that was brought from the International Criminal Court that had. Hang on one second. So in November 2020, this is November of last year. This is over a year ago. International Criminal Court, The Hague, issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, the alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity related to Israel's military campaign in Gaza following the Hamas attack on October 7th, 2023. So they found reasonable grounds to believe that they were responsible for starvation as a method of warfare. Excuse me. Crimes against humanity, including murder, persecution, and other inhumane acts against Gaza's civilian population during the conflict. Because neither Israel nor the United States are parties to the Rome Statute, the ICC's founding treaty, the ICC's jurisdiction is based on Palestine's acceptance of the court's authority. Still, 124 ICC member states are technically obligated to arrest Netanyahu if he enters their territory. So he's able to be arrested if he enters the territory, but I don't think that's going to happen, mainly because, he's not stupid by any means whatsoever. He's a leader. He's a power-hungry leader, and there's really no other way to put that. And I think I had read yesterday when I was doing some research on this that the Israeli government, hang on one second, that the Israeli government did not accept the warrant. And I thought that's a nice little cop-out, imagine if I had been able to do that when I got picked up for weed possession. Be like, oh, I'm not from this county, so I'm not going to recognize that I have to show up for court. But basically, when I say that I don't support Israel, I'm not pro-Palestine either. I'm not pro-Palestine, but I don't support Israeli government. I support Israel as a place, the Holy Land, where a lot of biblical things happened. It's documented. That's what I support. I support the citizens of Israel. I support, you know, I guess I don't really care about Palestine. I don't really care, but I'm not. So the thing is, I'm not pro Palestine, but I'm not pro Israel either. I'm pro Israel, the land. I'm pro God. I'm pro Jesus Christ. I'm not pro Netanyahu. I'm not pro IDF. I'm not pro any of that stuff. And this is like a weird, a gray. It's like a gray area because you see things where people are like, you have to pick a side. Like, no, I don't. I don't have to pick any side. I don't want to. I don't. If I don't want to pick a side, I don't have to. I don't think that the U.S. needs to be funding uh, a war, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Israel. I think we need to worry about what's going on in our own backyard. And since I've started this podcast, I've only been pro America. That's it. Pro America only. Forget everything else. I don't care about anywhere else. I care about America. And I don't know. I think that this has been going on for 2 years now, over 2 years. When did that happen? October 7th? Yeah, 2023. I don't know, man, but Israel. This is what brings me to my next point. Was a video that I saw. My wife had sent me about Google Analytics and how you can set your location to look at analytics of a different country to see what they're searching on Google. And Israel is Googling, like, there's certain things. So I'll bring this back to, and I hate beating this dead horse. It'll bring it back to Charlie Kirk. So, pardon. So Israel is Googling like 90 days in advance, so 3 months in advance, Charlie Kirk's assassination, right? Or Charlie Kirk shot and dead, whatever. I don't know if you can go look this up if you want to, but so there's search engines coming up of that, and then search engines are also bringing up in recent 3 months Disneyland terrorist attacks. So it makes me wonder, like, what's really going on? Like, are they trying to cater us to? Are they trying to not prepare us, but are they trying to, like, screw us over again in funding another war based on a terrorist attack on American soil? And I don't see. I mean, I guess, like, we'll wait and see. There's a bunch of. Everything is distraction based. Everything's based on distractions. Nothing's based on. I don't believe in coincidences. I think everything happens for a reason. And I think that everything's based on, I think, divine intervention and obvious free will of corrupt individuals that'll turn things into chaos in a way, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I'm being quite candid about it. But it's so hard to keep up with all this stuff because I don't want to be absent for what's going on in my life currently. I don't want to be distracted by politics unless it directly affects me, which I don't let it distract me. By the obvious podcast ratio I've been doing where, after starting this, even before this, I was doing an episode like every month. When I say every time, I said every episode previous to this one. Whoa. I'm trying to do this every week. I want to do this every. It's like, but I don't. Where can I find the time or the motivation, or the topics that I want to even talk about? Because politics gets so incredibly boring after a while, where it's the same cycle over and over again. Trump said this. Biden did this. Walz did this. Ilhan Omar did this. The mayoral race. Who cares? Honestly, like, who cares? The thing is, people are going to make the decisions they're going to make. Someone's going to be pissed off on whatever side of the aisle. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it all becomes like a broken record. It's all repetitive. It bears repeating. And political analysts and commentators have got to be the most annoying people in the world. There was a video, or was it? I think I came across a video of like Taylor Hicks. If you're an American Idol fan, which that show's gay as hell. So Taylor Hicks was a winner in like 2007, I want to say. And he's obviously not doing much now. But he went up against, I think it was Catherine McPhee, who's done a lot more than him at this point. But she was apparently she was an outspoken conservative, apparently. I didn't know that. But anyway, she's outspoken on the right. And I watched the video where she was standing next to Taylor Hicks and they announced his winning of the show. And someone said, "You absolutely didn't deserve that." Trolls in the comments are saying he didn't deserve it because he hasn't been doing much. But it's like, if you win American Idol, are you really doing much to begin with? I mean, look at Ruben Studdard or whatever. Is he alive still? I don't even know if he's still alive. Kelly Clarkson's probably the one who's doing the most, and she won first. Like, she was the first winner. Carrie Underwood obviously is doing her thing still. Chris Daughtry wasn't a winner, but he's doing, this is like a footstool for these people to be able to do more. And anyway, I'm getting off track here. So someone said in the comments, Taylor Hicks did not deserve to win American Idol. And someone said underneath that, Catherine deserved to win. And there was this person, faceless account, obviously, so there's no profile picture. And they said, yeah, well, Catherine McPhee is MAGA, so ultimately she deserved to lose. And I commented back and I said, imagine looking at everyone through a political lens. It's like the weirdest thing you could possibly do. You're basing your opinion on somebody based on their political stance. It's weird. Now, I try not to judge people at all, but based on morals and values, and it's not necessarily a political stance, because morals and values shouldn't bleed over into political stance or ideology. I mean, I have a somewhat extremist point of view, as some people would look at. Some people would base me as a conservative. I'm more of I guess you could call me a Christian nationalist. I don't know. I believe that homogeneous nations are 100% valid, and they should be looked at as somewhat kind of a benefit to the nation that it's under, or the nation that it falls under. I'm pro God. I'm pro life. Inside or outside of the womb, I'm pro life. And again, a lot of this could be used against me, where I've said certain things. I'm not pro pride or LGBTQ. I don't care what a person does or who they have sex with. That doesn't concern me at all. But if you demand that I utilize your pronouns when I'm talking to you and I don't even know you, like, I'm not going to do that. The thing is, I don't have gay friends. I don't have transgender friends. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm okay with not having that. So, but I see a lot of demands of online, and it's people who are chronically online that have the most mental problems and they have the most issues because they're not currently present in the, they got that Project Blue, they got that blue light going on where it's like it's messed with their brain chemistry and their brain waves, and their dopamine receptors are just fried because they're constantly online, refresh, looking for likes, and I see a lot of people who are just chronically online, and they tend to be the most miserable, and they tend to be the most negative. It's like I've cut my screen time down by like 3 or 4 hours. I was averaging like 9 to 10 hours a week, daily. Like it was 9 to 10 hours a day, or that was probably a week. 9 to 10 hours average a week, and now I think I'm down to like 5 or 6. But I'm not really like online as much. I mean, I post a meme and I walk away, or I post an old video and I walk away, and I just, if it goes viral, it goes viral. If it reaches the right audience, it reaches the right audience. If it doesn't, then perfect. It doesn't really matter to me. A lot of it's monetization, where if I'm able to make money off a certain stupid meme that I post, like, I'm going to do that. I guess you could call that selling out in a way, but the things that I post, it's like I believe it 100%, where I can say that, and if it comes off as a satirical standpoint, that's great. Some of it, I do make serious videos every now and then, and a lot of my seriousness on my platform comes from this, where I can talk freely, and because I don't really have a big audience right now, and it's okay to say what I want to say. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just the state of the world that we live in right now, where everyone's so preoccupied and distracted by likes and clicks and clickbait and stories, and yeah, man, people who are influenced by like the algorithm and stories and clicks and likes and shares and retweets and reposts and reblogs and all this dumb stuff. It's like that has to be one of the saddest existences to ever be. I mean, it's all phony. It's all fake. Like none of it's real. Nothing's authentic online. Half of the stuff that you see is either AI or it's staged. None of it's real. Like these private jets taking a photo next to a Lamborghini, 9 times out of 10, that's not real. I mean, the world is a stage and everyone's an actor. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't, they rent. Is it renting? You rent like a private plane, or you rent a Lamborghini for a day, or but not 5 days of the week they're living in their parents' basement. The only authentic, here's the thing, the only authenticity that I see online is either like podcasts, which maybe that's not, but another one would be streaming, like gaming. I see a lot of that, and I think that's pretty authentic. Those are just regular dudes and girls that, there's one girl who uses like aim assist or whatever when she plays Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever. But overall, it's pretty authentic. Streamers are pretty authentic. They're either reacting to a video or they're playing a game, and that's probably the most authentic art form that's out there right now, besides like stand-up comedy. And stand-up comedy is not really authentic because it's just jokes. I mean, none of it, not all of it's real, and some of the stories are a little fabricated to make people laugh, and that's fine. That's kind of how it goes. But the last thing that I ever want to be looked at as is an online persona or a troll account or and I do say things that get at people, and I mean, who doesn't these days? It's you want to do it for the reaction, and I see a lot of, I do make a few people mad if it happens that way. I mean, there are people who try to, I don't know. They just let things get to them a little too easily. It's like it's online. Like, what is it? Your first day on the internet? I mean, people are gonna say stupid things, and that's how it goes. And you can't change what people say. You can only change how you react. If you let a person who's online in bumfuck middle of nowhere bother you because they told you that men can't get pregnant or that babies don't deserve to live or it's not a baby, like if that bothers you so much, then you need to shut down your account and deactivate it. But the last thing I want to be looked at is like a phony, because I want to be authentic, and that's why I do what I do with this show. I try to be as authentic as possible. All the opinions are mine. None of it's, I do make jokes every now and then, and they may not be good ones, but I try to be as authentic as possible. And I want to raise my kids in the same way, to be authentic. Don't fake it. Don't change. Don't change yourself to fit in with people, because we don't want to be of this world. Like, we want to be. I want to raise my kids this way. We are not meant to be of this world. As believers, we're not meant to be of this world. We're meant to be set apart from this world, because you need to die to yourself. And that's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to attempt to do, is trying to die to myself. I saw another post about Nicki Minaj and Jelly Roll, just to name a couple, where they've taken quote unquote bold stances in proclaiming their faith in God. But their version of Christianity is to make you feel validated. It's not meant to make you. It's not meant to help you turn away. Just like when I see someone who says that they're a gay Christian or a pride Christian, like that doesn't exist, because you haven't died to yourself. You're not a Christian. Yes, you believe in God. Yes, you believe in Jesus Christ, but you're not truly following the ways. And I'm not saying that being gay is the worst sin out there, or being a drug addict. A sin is a sin. That's all it is. The thing is, like, hating someone is equal to being gay. Being a pedophile is equal to having lustful thoughts. The thing is, to we got cut off there. Obviously, this app is terrible and it crashes quite often. But where was I going with that? The point of Christianity and being a believer in Christ is not to feel. I'm not. How do I say this? It's not necessarily to feel validated. It's not to continue to sin, because if you continue to sin, you're just putting him back up on that cross again, and crucifying him over and over again every single time that you sin, without remorse or without repentance, without asking for forgiveness. Like, that's the key. You need to be able to ask for forgiveness and repent, and you need to die to yourself and turn away from it, and put those pet sins that you have up on a cross. Like, for example, I'll be quite honest with you guys. One of my sins is cursing. And obviously, I'm not the best example of a Christian that's out there. I'm really not. I don't have it all figured out. I want to rely on my own understanding before I go to God. I want to rely on, I have a temper. I have an anger issues. I want to, sometimes I don't treat my wife as well as I should. And those are things that I need to just give to God, and it's like, dude, just take this away from me. I'm giving all of this to you because this is what's important. These are the most important things in my life. It's not the show. It's not money, although that helps. It's not my phone. It's not how many followers I have on social media. It's none of that. It's not the stupid videos that I make. It's not even my hobbies. That's all like secondary, you know? My family and my faith in Christ is what has brought me to this point where I'm at right now. And my life is fantastic. It's amazing. It's great. I love it. I love every single moment of my life, even when it's not great. It takes intense pressure and heat to refine diamonds. And that's what we are. You're going to have to go through struggles to come out on the other side in a better light. That's just how it is. I think I've stood on this soapbox long enough, you guys. I don't know what time we're at because it's been so many clips. But this is the episode for the week. And I am going to do one every week because guess what? I work overnights. This is the time I get to be able to do this and to bring awareness. And it might not be current events. I mean, current events suck a lot of the times. What am I going to talk about next time? Luigi Mangione or Carmelo Anthony? Like, no, I don't want to. I don't care about any of that. But I think that I can be doing more and more of this and uploading more and more if this app will allow me to do so. But anyway, it's the reason for the season. Christmas Eve is tomorrow. I don't know when this is coming out. This is probably coming out tomorrow. This will be coming out on Christmas Eve. So if I don't see you guys before the new year, I'll see you next year. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate it. And I think, obviously, Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, you're probably gay. So that's how I'm going to say it. I don't think there's any other. The birth of Christ is the reason. Not Santa. Not Hanukkah. Not Kwanzaa, whatever that is. I don't even know what they celebrate Kwanzaa. But have a blessed holiday. Have, good food, good times with your family and friends. Maybe you're doing holidays solo now. Like that's what we're doing as a family. We've done that we have done that. It's probably our second year. Probably our second year doing that now. And it's great. I love it every step of the way. So stay safe out there. Don't do drugs. And if you do enough to think about me. Don't drink and drive. Tell your loved ones that you love them and you care about them as much as you possibly can. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. And hopefully I planted a couple mustard seeds. Yeah. Have a good one, you guys. Thank you again. This is Political Sanity. Bye-bye.